Hi Luke, Phil Beever here from the Wilderness Club. Just recap on our lesson today. So if we look here, as you start the takeaway here, you'll see your very first move is the club head goes a bit too inside. And we can see that here, the club is way behind you at that stage there. If we look at Molinari, as he takes it away, you'll see he keeps the club head slightly outside his hands. Perfect would be on the hands, but we can see there he goes slightly outside. And that's going to mean that when he hinges the club there, the shaft now bisects between the golf ball and his feet. If we look at yours, Luke, as you get to that same stage, we can see there how flat that hinge is there. And that's all because you've been trying to bow that wrist. And it's much more important to get the shaft more vertical because then that plays lighter in the hands and we can create more speed later on in the swing. We look at you there, keep going to the top. Because it's on a flat plane to start, it means the arms are going to be flat at the top. And we can see that there, and that's where you get that little twizzle, as you call it, at the top there, that little change. And that's because that's very unnatural for that club to be pointing that far to the left. And all that's happening is that the twizzle is trying to get the club back online or down the line of the shot. But even so, if we look at the top there, we can see far too much of your right shoulder. And I would like that left arm lifted up a little bit again, because Molinari's has gone back steeper. We can see there at the top there his left arm's on a completely different plane. Draw a line through your forearm compared to Molinari's. You can see the lines are very different again. It's much steeper. And that's going to mean that when you come down, we had a couple of swings. When you come down, you were slightly outside the line. This is a good one. This is back on inside the line, but we can still see here it's quite close there to the hosel compared to Molinari. He's going to shallow the club, so he's gone steep to shallow. Club's down the forearm there beautifully, and he can turn onto it. Club's always left of the ball coming in. He's got a bit of clearance. And we can also see he's in posture. So with you, the last bit we worked on was if we look at your spine at that angle. There we go. If we look at you at impact, as you come through, you can see your spine changes. And if we look at Molinari's at that same point, you'll see he's perfectly still intact. And that's because he's got some movement behind the ball, his bum staying on that line as we talked about as we run through. Look at that there, he's moved behind that red line quite a lot. And if we look at yours there, Luke, if we draw a line on you, we'll see you move behind it there, but then when you start down, you can see you move off it there. That's that little explosion. You're moving diagonally that direction where Molinari's is moving behind him. So that's the last bit. I've sent you some drills to work on. This is just an overview of what we saw and what we wanted to change. I've got the backswing steeper and more natural, and in the downswing we've got nice and shallow, and then we've got the pelvis working up and around the body. Thanks, Luke.